And the President of the United States held a news conference this morning. Actually, it wasn't the first question. The first question was about Syria, but one of the questions was about Gitmo. There's a hunger strike going on down there. Over 100 people, more than half of the entire population of people that we are holding in violation of our own Constitution are exercising a hunger strike. These are people who have not been convicted of any crimes whatsoever. They've not even been charged in most cases with crimes. And, well, here's what the president had to say.
It is not a surprise to me that we've got problems in Guantanamo, which is why when I was campaigning in 2007 and 2008, and when I was elected in 2008, I said we need to close Guantanamo. I continue to believe that we've got to close Guantanamo.
Yeah, and he goes on to say, Guantanamo is basically a blot on America. It's a recruiting tool for Muslim extremists, et cetera, et cetera. And that he campaigned on closing it, that he wanted to close it, and that Republicans in Congress have said, no, we're too terrified of these people. We're just terrified. They must be super beings, and, we're just wimpy white guys. Sorry, you can't do it. So I thought I'd check this out with Wayne Allyn Root, the Libertarian Commentator, former VP nominee of the Libertarian Party, author of the new book, The Ultimate Obama Survival Guide. Wayne, welcome back to the program.
Hey, Tom, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm fine. So are you as terrified of these guys at Gitmo as the Republicans in Congress are?
I have mixed feelings. On most issues, you and I have very strong opinions, and very often, not always, but very often opposite sides. I think I'm a little mixed on this one. I have no problem with them staying in Gitmo, to be honest with you. I don't know why you care. To me, it's not an important issue.
Because I think that if they're criminals, they should be tried in our criminal justice system here in the United States. If they are prisoners of war, they should be tried in military courts here in the United States. And maintaining a prison on Castro's Island so that we can say, oh, well, this doesn't quite comport with American law, is to say to the entire rest of the world, yeah, we believe in that Constitution, all that stuff, but we don't practice it. You can just ignore it just like we do.
We believe in it for American citizens, but these are enemy combatants.
The word citizen does not appear in the Constitution. The Constitution, the Due Process Clause, and as you well know, and the 10 Amendments to the Constitution refer to persons, not citizens.
No, but we didn't bring the Nuremberg Nazis back to the United States. We tried them in Nuremberg.
We didn't do any of that. That was done by Europeans, by and large.
Where I agree with you, by the way, is that they absolutely should be provided lawyers. They should face charges, and they should have trials. You can't leave someone in limbo forever. I disagree with that.
So why not do that? I mean, we've got a couple of hundred terrorist guys, in jail right now. As Obama pointed out, the blind sheikh, he's in jail for life. You got the underwear bomber, he's in jail for life. You got the Times Square bomber, he's in jail for life. These guys actually tried to do something to us. The guys down in Guantanamo said some of them, their biggest crime was that their brother-in-law didn't like them, and so for a $5,000 bounty that the Bush administration was giving out back in the day, they made up some story about him.
Well, you're assuming that, but my question is,
well, no, it's been proven actually over and over again.
On trial. Where are the trials? Where are the lawyers? I mean, Obama could put them on trial anytime he wants, can he?
He cannot put them into Article III courts, into standard U.S. courts until they come to the United States.
I understand.
Guantanamo is not the United States. It's Cuba.
That's all I'm saying. Why not try them in a military tribunal in Gitmo? They deserve a trial. I agree with you.
Some of them are actually, going through that process in Gitmo, but not all of them. And that's nuts. But even that, why should we be having? Why should we not be doing this in the United States of America? I get it that George W. Bush wanted to be Superman, and if all Superman did was stop people from robbing 7-Elevens, it would have been a very boring comic book. He had to have Lex Luthor, and he had to have kryptonite. For a super, in fiction, as you know, in movies and novels, the center of good is always defined by the center of evil. It's the good guy can be no better than the bad guy is bad.
Look, we know they're not superhuman, Tom, but we also know that as of what just happened 2 weeks ago in Boston, There are people out there trying to kill us, and they are using Islam as a reason to kill us, and we know that's happening. And I don't think it's a smart idea.
And what's recruiting them is the fact that we've got Guantanamo.
What's that?
And one of the things that they're using to recruit people like this bozo in Boston is Gitmo.
You know, you're assuming that. I think Gitmo goes away tomorrow. They'll find something else. The way we treat you.
I'm not
nicely,
assuming that, Wayne. You've got both CIA reports and press reports of and self-reports of people who have joined, quote, jihad against the United States because of Guantanamo.
Yeah, but Tom, listen, you know, I happen to be a Jewish American, and Muslims have always attacked Israel. They find a reason. There's no Gitmo in Israel. There's always going to be some reason they make up why they don't like us, they don't like Christians. They're murdering Christians in Egypt, and the reason has nothing to do with Gitmo. They just don't like Christians. So you're dealing with a very different...
What does any of that have to do with Guantanamo?
Very similar to the Nazis, by the way.
Oh, come on. What, we're behaving similar to the Nazis? I realize the Nazis put all the death camps outside of Germany so that if they were ever caught, Hitler could say, oh, I didn't do that. That was the Poles who did that. You know, at what do you call it? Or in Belsen, that was the Dutch who did that. You know, but all the death camps, to the best of my knowledge, you know, the work camps like Dachau and whatnot were in Germany, but the actual extermination camps, they were all outside of Germany. Are you suggesting that when Bush set up Gitmo, he was using Hitler as a model?
No, I'm saying Muslim is very much similar. The Muslim argument, radical Islam, is using Nazi-like philosophy, just like the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt supported the Nazis during World War II. Their argument has nothing to do with...
We supported the Nazis during war... we supported the Nazis up until World War II became World War II.
Well, it wasn't when we knew they were exterminating Jews. We know that.
Actually, not true. We knew that they were exterminating Jews for several years before we entered that war. And Rex Stout published a book called The Illustrious Dunderheads, which is a collection which has been out of print for a long time, but you can still find copies of it. You know, Rex Stout, the guy who invented Nero Wolfe, he had over 74 million books in print by the time he died in the 60s or 70s. And it was a collection of speeches. There were a few Democrats, most of them were Republicans, who on the floor of the House and the Senate saying, Hitler's up to this stuff, but Hitler's not such a bad guy. You had who's the Lindbergh? You had Charles Lindbergh out there supporting Hitler.
The defender of the Nazis, by the way. The Kennedy Patriarch was probably the single biggest defender of the Nazis. And this isn't political. It doesn't matter if he's a Democrat or Republican. There were people in America who made very bad decisions in those days. I'm aware of that. But all I'm trying to say to you is, I'm not uncomfortable with Gitmo. I'm uncomfortable with no trials and no lawyers and no charges. Every human being deserves a trial, deserves a lawyer.
But you think it's just fine that America operate prison camps off our own land?
By the way, I think it's an economic issue, not keeping them on our land. I don't want to spend $20 million trials and spend another $20 million on appeals of death penalties for the next 30 years in a traditional American legal system.
So just kill them in Cuba? Or just let them rot in Cuba, even people who haven't had a trial?
No problem. Listen, there's so many things in the news.
Wayne, this sounds so un-American and so wimpy. I'm astounded to hear it coming out of your mouth.
Listen, when I look at the media and I hear that right now at this moment the Boston terror suspects were in fact on welfare and received $100,000 in benefits.
That was over a 10-year period, and that was 6 people in their family.
I just think there's a lot more to worry about. We have 90 million people able-bodied not working, and I'm more concerned with them than a bunch of potential alleged... So,
let's make the government the employer of last resort like Roosevelt did and put people back to work instead of giving them unemployment checks, although the Republicans have just cut their unemployment checks at the sequester. But B, let's close Guantanamo.
Ultimate Obama Survival Guide. Got to get a pitch in for my book.
Yeah, okay, yeah. This is Wayne's most recent book, The Ultimate Obama Survival Guide. You can find all about it at rootsforamerica.com. Wayne Root, a Libertarian commentator and former VP nominee. Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Tom.